So that's how you're going to sit? Sit how you're going to sit so I can get
Okay.
a focus.
You know, I don't know if I should tell them that we're starting or...
I just did.
Okay.
That they're kind of bleeding through this area here.
Yeah.
But I don't hear them.
Okay, cool.
That's all I care.
It's fine.
Put me lucky
All right, Pod Brother.
podcast vest on my Pod Brother vest.
That's your Pod Brother vest?
Yeah.
It should say Pod Brother on it.
I'm ordering some.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Pod Brother vest.
For the camera guys.
Yeah, totally. Nice.
Last looks.
Last looks. Last looks. Check the collar.
Collar can be out, that's fine. Okay, we are rolling sound, rolling camera 2. Rolling camera 1. All right. I think this is. Got my drink. Got my phone.
Another pillow. Get another one back there.
I feel
Yeah.
something behind me.
Yeah,
so-
totally. Get the back comfortable. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, how are you?
Super good. Thank you so much for having me on your podcast.
Yeah, well, welcome to Pod Brother Nation. This is the Pod Brother Show, and I'm excited to have you on.
Pleasure, K-Bro. Thank you very much.
I've been wanting to get you on for months.
Yeah, I know. We're finally getting around to it.
Yeah, I met you a while back, and I was like, oh, you sing, you write, you do healing, you do all kinds of cool stuff. So these are the type of people I want on my show.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. It's super pleasure. I'm
Glad
pretty
you could
stoked.
carve out a second in your busy schedule and sit
Yeah.
down and chop it up with the Pod Brother.
Totally.
We're actually borrowing a set. This is the Brain Body Bliss set that Dr. Kathleen Rosenblatt does her podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So you and I we're hijacking.
Yeah, we're hijacking the set from Kathleen
Brain Body
this
Bliss.
evening, this
Dr.
afternoon.
Kathleen Rosenblatt set. So if you see us like scrambling and running because we hear a car coming up,
Nah.
you grab the lights, I'll grab the camera, we'll scurry out the back.
No, we need this furniture. Look at how beautiful this furniture is. It's such a beautiful place. You can't see the Buddhas in the background. It's quite lovely.
Yeah, so I'm happy to have you. So I wanna kind of do a deep dive into some of the things you do, who
Sure.
you are, what you're about, where you come from, where you are, and where you're going.
Those are some loaded questions
Yeah.
there.
Thank you. That's our show. We'll see you next week. Thanks for coming on. That was a great interview.
Okay, see ya. See ya. I'll go home. Thanks. Really, pleasure.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what you'll see here on Pop of the Nation.
Yeah, yes, darling. Speaking of who I am, where I've been, where I'm going, that's a great question.
Yeah, well, let's break it down into a couple of pieces.
Sure.
All right, so let's start with where you're from. And,
Well,
take me back to the first time that you thought you had something to offer humanity, and you wanted to do something with it. Because we're all given gifts, and some of us take it to the grave, some of us find it, and turn it into some byproducts and leave some gifts behind when we're gone.
When we leave.
when did you go, you know, I think I got something to offer, and this is how I'm going to do it. What was that moment? How old were you?
I think I was, as soon as I picked up a guitar for the first time, like I had always done choir and things like that growing up, and was very theatrical. I was always very odd, very like, just, I don't want to say...
You were like that kid?
I don't know, I was a lot of different things. I was like jack of all trades.
Like, that kid, I don't know.
He's got something weird.
Something's going on. He's funny though.
Yeah.
But he's funny. He's funny.
Yeah. But like, it was always, you're something else. You know, you got spunk. And it wasn't until I think I was like 19 when I picked up a guitar for the first time, and I was like, wow, I never want to do anything else. Like this is the best thing that I've ever felt in my life. And I pretty much just devoted myself to music. But there really was a point where I reached like a pivotal realization that through realizations that I had from my spirituality, my discovery of spirituality through meditation, when I started to notice the power of the mind and what we can create around us, that's when I was like, wait, if music is this modality that you can use to translate a message, and I feel something so deeply and I don't know how to express it, maybe music is the way that I can share my heart.
And how old were you then?
I think 19.
You're 19?
Yeah, I think 19.
Yeah. Now, when you picked up that guitar and you got that vibe, was it like, oh man, me and this guitar is going to establish a lifelong relationship, and I'm going to come up with some really cool stuff in that process, and I really don't care who hears it, it's just me and the guitar? Or was it like, whoa, I got some good stuff, and I can't wait to get on stage and share this with some people?
Honestly, I think it was always about focusing on the message, but it became something different. It became the journey itself, because in my determination to reach people with my heart's message, I've run into so many obstacles in traveling and busking and subways and just like, you know, putting myself out there and overcoming like the judgments of others and all these other things that happen along the way of like becoming the best musician, because when that translates at a higher level than anything that I could ever say, it's really in the doing of it. So it's both the journey of continuously building on what I learn about music and just channeling what it is that I feel, because truth be told, I wouldn't call myself a musician. I'm more of a magician because I don't know where I learned any of it, to be honest. It wasn't like anybody really taught me. I just kind of asked the universe questions about it and was given like
Some
things
vibe.
to do.
Some vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. When did you decide that, all right, I want to get on stage and I'm going to share this? And were you nervous the very first time you performed in front of some people?
Honestly, the first time that I was really capable, besides like just playing with my friends in the living room, really capable of like standing up in front of a crowd, I was in Mexico. And it was like luck struck down on me like a rainbow or like a shooting star or something, because it was the first time that I had ever like connected my singing voice, my playing with the ukulele, and like performing in front of like a crowd of people. And I was so nervous, but it was so beautiful. I remember the feeling exactly, like emanating from my heart. And this person came up to me, was taking a video, and it just so happened to be like the keyboard player from Bob Marley and the Wailers, and he was like, "You got it, sister!" Like he was so cool, and he just gave me a big hug, and we like went and got some tacos and talked about music, and I was like, wow, if this guy is telling me that I got some, I gotta just go for it. So I like lived in Mexico for a while and just kind of played music everywhere that I could, and Mexico was a huge part of my journey of self-realization. So
That is cool.
yeah.
I know for me, I started, like, I always had a good sense of humor. I was that class clown,
Yeah.
cracking up,
Voted
and making
class
fun
clown.
of teachers, principals,
Kid
and,
bro.
you know, relatives, and
Yeah.
mocking, you know, my great uncle and how people talk and act and walk. And
Where are you originally from?
I was born in Chicago, and I was raised in Indiana, South Bend, Indiana.
Wow.
And I went to Indiana University, played basketball.
No way. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You know, we have that in common. We both
I'm a
played
Hoosier.
college sports.
Forgot to turn my phone off. Hey Herb, I'm in the middle of a podcast, so I'll call you back. So let me just turn off that ringer, turn off my phone.
I'll respond to that if you want.
Yeah.
So we
yeah,
have that. We actually have that in
Are
common.
you from Indiana?
Not from Indiana. I'm actually from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
So pretty close.
Yeah.
However, the college sports thing, we both played sports in college.
Yeah. What was your sport?
Lacrosse.
Oh. So you know Joe, you got out there with the sticks.
I
running
know, it
around,
was kind of crazy. I used to
checking
come home
people.
with bruises on my arms all the time.
Yeah.
Basketball's tough too. You
Yeah.
still got the 3-point shot?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I used to.
Did you dunk?
I could.
Dang.
At 6'1".
He's got hops.
I had hops, and people
Pod brother.
were like,
They don't call him Pod
"Bro."
brother for nothing.
Yeah, they're like, you got some springs, you got legs, you got wheels, and I
Yeah.
was like, yeah, I could
Yeah.
throw it down. It was cool because I always like to challenge myself, and I always, you know, whenever I played against guys who were taller, faster, bigger, stronger, it made me faster,
Yeah.
stronger,
Yeah.
and more powerful.
Totally.
So, you know, you play with people your
Healthy
size.
competition.
I almost felt like it wasn't fair because everyone who was my height, my size, most people my height couldn't dunk. So, as someone who could dunk at my height,
Isn't that so funny that when you shine, we automatically as human beings, like, almost feel the need to reduce ourselves. So often, I find that people on the average, on the daily, reduce themselves because it's like, oh, well, I don't fit in, so I might as well just, like, blend in. But I think that's kind of, it screws us all up, you know?
But my major sport, that wasn't my major sport. My major sport, can you guess what my major sport was?
Volleyball.
No, but I love playing volleyball. I was really good at that too because I had hops. So you got the jumps, you're going to be good. But no. Give me 2 more guesses. What my major sport was.
Swimming.
You're close.
Oh, like what was the donkey ball thing in the pool?
Oh,
What is that?
Polo?
Polo.
No.
Donkey ball.
No, I'll give you one more guess.
I don't got it.
Diving.
I would have never guessed that.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
no
have
one
thought of
would.
any other water
Yeah.
sports right now.
Yeah, springboard diving, 1 meter and 3 meter.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
And you only made a little splash.
Little splash, just bubbles, just perking little bubbles.
Just a
when I
tiny
land.
little poop.
Yeah,
Hey,
that was
I
awesome.
look like I was born at the sea this day.
Yeah, you're looking very aqua.
Yes, very aqua,
Very
indeed.
very mermaid.
Oh, you think so?
Yes.
Yes, I am quite the siren.
Yeah.
That is why I have the sound bowls and brought the sound bowls with
Yeah.
me. It's part of the alchemy.
I
It's part of
am.
magic.
I am a total Aquaman. You know, I was aquatics director and a lifeguard and a
Really?
diver. I coached high school and college, and so I had crushes on mermaids.
I can believe it.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
So
I mean,
you would have been a
they
mermaid.
do learn
I would have
about
had a
it.
crush on for sure.
Well, mermaids are classically known for luring men to their deaths.
I would have gladly gone.
I volunteer.
I volunteer.
I volunteer to be summoned to death.
to spend my last experience with a mermaid and then poof, check out.
I only plan on guiding people towards a liberational death of the spirit, of their physical self, so that they can be more of who they really are. I think that we live in a world of so many complications in this generation. I think my generation is really faced with an interesting topography. I mean, especially being here in LA.
Let's tie that in with where I want to go next with your discovery of your
Oh, yeah, sure.
music. And now you've had a chance to share with a live audience. You've got a confirmation and affirmation from the Wailers keyboard. And now you're like in a zone where you know you have something. You know you have something to say, something to share, something to give. How did you put that together where you're like, okay, I have a mission and I have someplace I want to go. I have this musical, spiritual vehicle that I can accompaniment that with. What was the process of putting together what it is that you actually do now?
Well, it's been a 5-year-long process. Some of the songs that I'm finally putting on this first record, I'm working on my first record right now, and it's called It's Only Genius If You Can Repeat It. Because I obviously have dreams to continue to make music and to produce the sounds that are my voice, that are me as an artist. And I'm super grateful for the creative process because I've gotten the opportunity to reform myself and to find things that emanate who I am, because we're all really unique people and we're here to discover that about ourselves. And I think that this album is about a journey of the discovery of my spirituality. Some of the songs dating back to when I wrote them in like 2021 or 2020, and I've spent a lot of time trying to find the right pieces to fit the puzzle to make it a beautiful a gift, an art piece that is a demonstration of who I am now and who I've cultivated myself to be. Because one of my favorite teachers in the world always used to say that I wasn't born this way, I just thought it was worth cultivating, and that definitely stuck with me as a very important lesson.
That is.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very profound. When you, and I'm not sure if you have this in your song or in your album or in any of your mission, but I know there's people out there. I find that I've run in a lot of different circles. You know, in high school they called me the click breaker because I ran with all the cliques.
Yeah, totally.
I was the ambassador of cliques.
Yeah.
Because I had a lot of charisma. I had comedy. You know, I was kind of a strong dude. I was tall and
caring.
So, you know, it allowed me to kind of break into different groups that maybe you may not have access to, but you put all that together, and people are like, oh yeah, come hang with us. So I found myself being, with the artists and the athletes and the nerds, and I consider myself a black nerd. You know,
yeah.
I like tinkering.
A blurred.
Yeah, I'm a blurd.
I'm a blurred.
I'm a blurd.
I've never heard that term
nerd.
before. I've never heard this term before.
Now you know.
You ever hear of the blurred? Blurred is the word.
Yeah, blurred is the word.
Blurred is the word.
And I was a figure model for the art department, and I drew, painted, sculpted, athlete, and I was in all these different groups, and I found myself in a spiritual group as well. And when I try to explain to people what spiritual is, I find myself trying to find the proper definition. I'm like, well, it's a feeling, it's a vibe, it's cool, it's chill, but I couldn't put it into a definition. What would be your definition of spiritual? And
I think in its truest form, non-judgmental, because it's speaking to what you're saying, right? Being open to people, because we're humans, we're people, and we spend so much time being so prejudiced based off of the externality of what we look like or what we perceive as like all that there is. But there's so much more than what there is. Otherwise,
our host human.
Yeah,
which we didn't choose.
No, we were given this life.
Yeah.
And spirituality is walking in gratitude for all that surrounds us and making it better. A lot of what I've come to learn and discover is sourced from the indigenous peoples of the world. So I definitely champion the earth in a lot of my music, because the earth is the closest thing that I understand to be spiritual. And I think that if more people understood wisdom from the roots of life, I think that people would treat each other a lot differently and be a lot happier societally.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, two of the things I am most grateful for, and discovering what you should be grateful for, I think is half the battle, because if you don't know what you can be grateful for, then it's hard for you to navigate and figure out, you know, what you should be grateful for, and the people and the things that you get in your life, to be grateful for those things. For me, I'm grateful that I was born, because to have and get life gives you a chance to have a life to do something.
Yeah.
And there's trillions and trillions and trillions of organisms that never even got a chance to become a living thing. So I'm grateful for that, number one. Second thing I'm grateful for is I found my purpose for my life, and that's comedy.
Yeah.
And I found that very early.
Yeah.
You know, even as a kid,
Yeah.
you know, cracking people up in my class as a class clown. What do you find that is something that really sticks out that makes you feel very grateful for?
The magic that seems to surround miracles. It's almost like you can go through life and ask some force of goodness for what it is that you want or desire or believe in, and if you really believe in that thing, it will show up. And I think that I'm really grateful for this life because of the privilege that I get to walk where my ancestors have built this experience for. All of us have. But I ultimately live to challenge what's been created in order to create something a lot better. So I think that art is about the heart, and you can't spell heart without art, and it's one and the same thing. So when it comes to the workings of the heart, I believe that we are here for a very special time in our human history to make great change so that we can continue to live this extraordinary blessing that we have. Because it's so wonderful to be able to look up in the blue sky and see birds swimming in the air, like diving into the air, and to hear all these buzzing creatures that you can't even almost believe, like a lightning bug, you know? A lightning bug just glows on its back and like blinks, glow blinks. You're like, it's a miracle.
What makes this time so special?
You know, I wish I really understood the answer to that question, just because what we said earlier is that we were given this life. We didn't choose it, but we're here. So what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with it? It's like, well, you can walk in fear, you can walk in love. There's two choices. But when you walk in love, it's almost like anything is possible. And this prophesized time in literature, mythologies, dating back in a lot of different religious contexts, everybody called it something different, is sort of occurring because of our evolution and our access to information, of greater information, mass information. And education has always been the key to liberation. So the more informed people are about the injustices, the more that we realize that we're only as strong as our weakest link. So we begin to understand the true nature of power But I really wish I understood like why exactly it's right now. I mean, it's always been happening right now. We've always been like pushing on the edge of something.
You know, for me, I think that now is the most amazing time of all time of mankind. I'm older than you, so I
Yeah.
had a chance
Yeah.
to see kind of the little bit of the Stone Age all
Yeah.
the way to
Yeah,
this
totally.
modern, digital, technical,
Yeah.
computerized AI world.
Yeah.
And for me, it is probably the sweetest spot of mankind and the existence of mankind, because I literally got a chance to live in the decades where there was no pollution in space. Man had not gone to space yet. And now there's
almost
millions-
covering the Earth.
Yeah, there's
Tesla's
millions of man-made
satellites. Oh my gosh,
trash
debris.
in the space.
Yeah.
So I
Blocking our
was,
sun.
I was here when there
Yeah.
was zero trash in space. I was here when phones were party lines.
Yeah.
And I was here when
Ringing the party line.
Before-
Someone's on the line.
before Ma Bell was broken up for antitrust into long distance companies and local companies to no answering machines. Like, imagine a world, no answering machines, snail mail,
Yeah.
and payphones, and if you didn't have change, you
Yeah.
had to find
Yeah.
someplace where you could get change.
Yeah.
And they would be like, oh no, we need our change. I'm like, I needed two, I gotta make an important call. It's like, I need 4 quarters, sorry, we need our quarters.
Yeah. That's challenging. That's
You
a
know,
pinch.
That's a pinch, you know, with the Rand McNally map as a magazine to get around. And so from that to
Yeah.
a smartphone
Yeah.
where you can just
Yeah.
and take a picture and you can, you know, send documents and videos and like Dick Tracy, that was a fictional comic book, a TV watch that you could talk to and see each other.
Totally.
And now it's
It's
actually
real. Star Trek, man. It's like
So where in the existence of man has the evolution of man's intellect and technology accelerated so fast? Because think about it, you go back, how long has Homo sapiens, Neanderthals been on the planet? Like
hard to say.
10, you know, a million years,
knows?
800,000,
Who knows really?
But think about it, like the first, say, 600,000 years, they went from a stone to a stick,
Yeah.
and that's for centuries. You know, if finally someone like
Made fire.
made fire, and that was, you know, a century.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You know, like there was no, hey, we're making fire, and then in 60 years
Yeah.
we've got a phone. You know,
Totally.
whereas that's kind of happened with in my generation.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
went from no human in space to now we got a Hubble telescope, you know, 100 million light year
Did
miles
the
away
James
from
Webb telescope
still taking
shows
photos.
some amazing things. If you've ever seen the James Webb Hubble telescope,
Yeah, it's
oh
incredible.
my god, the
Unbelievable.
pictures of like other planets that may have life.
We
you know?
get to see that now. And to
It's a
be
great awakening.
an eyewitness of that,
Yeah.
to me, is what makes this time and the span that I've been so incredible. Because, like Gen A, they are born into the smartphone generation.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so you have Gen XYZ, you know, there was they witnessed some of that evolution, but not like Gen A.
Yeah.
Gen A is born right into a cell phone
Totally.
and all this AI, and it's amazing. Like, I kind of would love to be around to see what they do with all of this. See where it all goes.
You know, I feel like I remember in my regressions of lives that I've done, both integrating the past and the future, I feel like my art and my role of being a person is to help people remember what true technology really is, like what we really can do with technology, because I don't know, it really is just like Star Trek or Star Wars when you see like the holograms popping up, or an Iron Man with this beautiful catalog that you can like, you know, move around things in a screen and almost like speak to a computer that is AI generated, but it's evolved. And you can have like a communication with it to create a design for something. So it becomes like an advanced tool. You know, it's the same thing that you're saying, building fire and then all of a sudden using fire to do engines, and it's just keep moving forward. We're living in that time. I mean, the first Apple computer was sold for like $660, $66 or whatever it was. So.
What's your take on AI?
You know, I don't really use it all that much. I have it turned off for pretty much everything because I navigate with knowing where I am most of the time, or using a compass, actually, and like connecting to my greater intuition. That's how I get my ideas for music. I know some people in my generation nowadays will like have a creative idea and they just go and they plug it into AI and it does it for them, but I have good people in my life that I like to connect with and co-create with in the world. But I think that it is useful on many different fronts. I mean, there are people that have disabilities that might need it to have a better life, to live a more integrated, fulfilled life. So I respect the people that are pursuing their dreams to create for a better humanity, but I don't agree with the abusers of it. I think that with the goggles, it becomes a little bit of a problem for me because we have this planetary issue of needing to prioritize each other in the earth, and we're kind of it's like such an elephant in the room, and I think that it really disconnects us from, you know, what's really going on in our world.
But don't you think that disconnect is more from, you know, your education, your environment, your influence, what you're taught, how you're taught it? Because if there's a balance in how you can use AI, but you're still grounded in practical things, into society, into groups, and into you know, people, and you're connected, which is what I think I am, because I see AI as a craft, as a tool, something that I can use to make multiple aspects of my creativity flow faster than if I were to do it the old-fashioned way. And as you get older, you realize time is your commodity, and you don't want to spend 80 hours like manipulating a thing to get to where you actually see you want it. And with the AI tool, if you know what you want, which from the artist's vision, and you can have a tool or a craft that can get you there faster, that's the advantage to someone like me. But I'm not letting it take over my life. And I don't believe everything that I hear. I know that there's deep fake worlds, and I know that there's trolling on the internet, and I know that you can't always believe what you see and hear, and you have to be objective and grounded within your own self and your own spirituality, so that you can take it with a grain of salt. You can be admired by it, you can be entertained by it, but you're not so consumed and you're not drunk on the Kool-Aid of believing everything you see and hear. Don't you think that if there was a balance in how it's administrated, it wouldn't be so scary releasing it to the public, which most are kind of brain dead?
I fly out on the 10th and I fly back.
Yeah, I mean, we live in an ultra-dependent matrix society. People are dependent on a system that takes care of them. I think a lot of people just don't know how to take care of themselves. So it's easy to hook on to something that someone is feeding you or showing you because it's massively funded. And sometimes it seems like it's an impossible feat. Like, the devil might be at work is like how people might like to think of it, but it's a lot both more sinister than that and dark because of the people that have power and control of the world and what they value. And until the corruption begins to unravel itself, meaning like the people that are good people doing the research to find, you know, who it is that's responsible for things like child trafficking. And, you know, I saw a report the other day that really, it's a part of why I feel the necessary need to step up and be who I am. Because I don't concur with the state of the world agenda and global affairs, because the military-industrial complex is the most profitable industry in the world, and that's not the world that I want to live in. And you see these reports where, like, the leaders of the world, people that are in the departments of chairs leading the government, are the people that you can trace back to being responsible for things like child trafficking, or, you know, just like in Star Wars, when you see the, it's supposed to be resistance tanks, but they're labeled with the Sith Lord, and like, it's supposed to be teaching us, you know, where the darkness lies, because it's everywhere, because it's a money game. And until we understand what it is that we're, you know, manipulating in our world, because you said most people are brain dead, I mean, it's really easy to numb out. It's really easy to not create anything, because evolution is the state of the creative mind.
Right.
When you can live out of survival.
Don't you think that's why art is important in recognizing some of these issues? And you know, sometimes life imitates art, and sometimes art imitates life, and to you know, be rational enough to figure out which is which can be a challenge.
Yeah, totally. It's maddening.
Where do you you know, kind of moving into the next chapter, where do you see your art, your music, your mission going? Like, what's the direction that you want to push, and what are some of the results you want to see in your in that assignment? I mean, for me, with comedy, if I see an issue or something or a stat I don't like, I will do comedy on it to bring light to it. I will be the court jester of society and make fun of the royal family, and make fun of the population, and be like, hey, you guys get it together, because this is ridiculous. This is you know, this is stupid. And you know, that's how it works for me. That's how my brain works. Like, okay, how can I use my comedy to fix something that makes me a little bit agitated, or a little bit angry, or a little bit sad, or a little bit like, you know, what's that for you? What's your direction?
That's a great question. Also, I love that you can bring comedy to it. That's something that I'm not saying that I struggle with necessarily, but some people take me a little seriously. But I'm sort of a mystic, so just different ways of addressing it.
You should take the PNN Academy stand-up comedy workshop. Cheap plug, brought to you by PNN Academy. Stand-up comedy workshop, which you too can take for $149. You can take stand-up comedy workshop. It's 2 sessions, 4-hour sessions, or 1 8-hour session all day long, and then you can go out into the world and do professional comedy. This message was brought to you by the PNN Academy Stand-up Comedy Workshop.
Back to you live.
Back to you live.
At the desk.
I had to throw a cheap plug in there. You
totally.
Opened up the window. I love those bowls.
Me too. I only brought a couple of them.
Tell me what these are about.
These are vehicles. You know, these things are so powerful, and I have collected a lot of mystical tools in my gypsying and my traveling of collecting different like vintage and antique items that have like either fallen out of the sky or like, you know, come into my life as gifts, or even my own purchases, like, you know, getting these bowls and everything, which is something that's always helped me.
What's the
So-
byproduct behind the bowls? Like what as a human being, what's the byproduct you get from either hearing them or activating them? Or...
Well, I think the purpose of the sound bowl is to channel a tone or a specific tuning.
Different tones represent different frequencies? Or?
Different frequencies and different like tones. It's the same thing as like the notes on a scale, except these specific tunings.
Oh, who got that?
Yeah. Kathleen?
Kathleen? Kathleen?
Kathleen!
Maybe it's too much noise, I'll close it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
way too much.
Can you close your door?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so different frequencies, different tones.
Yeah, the sound bowls have always been a really important aspect of my journey. They can tune the various chakras in your body. So we have a physical body and we have a spiritual body. And when we go out into the world and we interact with all these other living beings, we can pick up on other people's like energy that they put towards us. And so the sound bowls really help to like keep your aura strong and to like cleanse that spiritual body and align those chakras that are like organs. It's like the same function as an organ, except it's electromagnetic. So there's a field of energy around us. And these can help to make them spin in the right way so that you can live a healthy and like high vibrational life. You can really tap into the purpose of alchemy itself through sound.
Can I do one?
Yeah, sure. Try this one because this one will ring better. So you can either ring it in your hand or you can ring it on the pillow. What do you prefer?
On the pillow.
Okay. Just place it in your hand. So this one is the Manipura, which is also the solar plexus. Yeah, just ring it in. And if you try, you can like do it around. If you do it around the outside, like here, and then you like carry it
Oh, cool.
around, you can like enhance the reaching of the sound itself. Takes a lot of gentleness.
Yeah,
You'd
I
be
have to have a
surprised.
little finesse. A little
Yeah,
touch.
right? Let's see that splash. The dive board
Then-
splash finesse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is very cool.
Mhm. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's very helpful. I oftentimes will come home to my altar of all my sound healing instruments and ring them all and connect with how I pray to life and what guides me to make choices.
It reminds me of the
So-
dinner bell. You just make me hungry.
I know, I'm also myself a little famished, but I'm gonna wait until this interview is over to get my snack on. Yeah.
I see you got your guitar.
Yeah, I did bring
So,
my guitar.
Is it possible you could
Sure.
whip out a
Yeah,
little something
yeah.
here for the Pod
I'll
Brother?
play something. I'll play
Pod
something.
Brother Nation.
I did bring this little acoustic. This was one of my first guitars that I got. It's this old little rosewood.
I'm learning the
Guitar.
bass. I got a 5-string.
Oh, no
bass.
way.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
Jam.
I'm doing scales and
Yeah.
exercises right now.
The bass is so fun. The
I
bass
was in a
is
high
like...
school band back in the day.
No, we
yeah.
were not.
Played
I didn't
a lot of
know.
funk, yeah, it was-
What? You did funk?
Yeah.
Dude, we gotta play sometime.
Yeah, we
That'd be rad.
Yeah. So what do you got for us today?
Yeah, let's see. I could play a couple things. I could play maybe... Yeah, I'll do Heaven. So, I have about 7 or 8 songs that are going to go on this album. And it's called It's Only Genius If You Can Repeat It. And this is one of the songs called Heaven. That's a little jazzy.
I think I might do this on Instagram.
Sure.
So while you're warming up, let me pull up my Instagram. We're doing some live here.
system, we give it one last time. 'Cause it's our time, we are humans, we're spinning top of a big fuzzy planet. We forgot that we could learn to fly. 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 If we purposely forgot just to remember the tides, then maybe we could turn back time and do more than just survive. Because we've all died and went to heaven. The earth is our heaven. Died and went to heaven. Earth is our heaven. That's a little preview of that one.
Awesome.
It's called Heaven. So that one's gonna be on the record. And I'm pretty excited about it. But as for, just to answer your question about, like, where I'm going, I want to travel the world and I want to bring my art to the world. And it's both a mystical performance, but also a sharing of a message that I hope brings people together, gets people to, learn how to free themselves a little bit. I think that something that I've observed in traveling all over the world is people are so uncomfortable to just be themselves, and I just want to inspire people to be themselves and to dance, and sing and enjoy life. So bringing the world a little bit closer together, hopefully, is where I want to go.
Awesome.
And what I want to do.
Glad to see that you've got a global mission.
Yeah,
global incentive.
I mean, it's kind of wild. I question the universe. You put me up to this. This is what you put me here for.